Smoke, thick and black, choked the hallway. It was an almost impenetrable barrier, reducing visibility to mere inches. The acrid smell of burning materials filled the air, making it hard to breathe even through the masks. The firefighters knew that time was against them. Every second counted in this race against the relentless flames. Heat, an oppressive force, pushed against their helmets and masks. It was like walking into a wall of fire, each step more difficult than the last. The intense heat distorted the air around them, creating a shimmering effect that made it hard to see clearly. Sweat poured down their faces, mixing with the soot and grime that clung to their skin.
Second floor, southeast corner. The voice cut through the chaos, a beacon of direction in the midst of the inferno. The team knew that this was their target, the place where they needed to focus their efforts. They moved with purpose, each firefighter understanding their role in the mission. We need to vent this damn thing. The urgency in the voice was palpable. Venting the building was crucial to controlling the fire and providing a safer environment for both the firefighters and any potential survivors. They worked quickly, using their tools to create openings that would allow the smoke and heat to escape.
Each step was a battle against the inferno. The flames seemed to have a life of their own, reaching out with fiery tendrils to block their path. The firefighters moved with determination, their training and experience guiding them through the treacherous environment. They knew that giving up was not an option. Fire danced and roared, hungry for more. It consumed everything in its path, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The sound of crackling wood and collapsing structures filled the air, a constant reminder of the power they were up against. But the firefighters were undeterred, their resolve unshaken. They pushed forward, their heavy gear a burden and a lifeline. The weight of their equipment was a constant reminder of the dangers they faced, but it was also their protection. Each piece of gear had a purpose, designed to keep them safe in the most hazardous conditions. They moved as one, a well-coordinated team with a single goal.
Over there! A faint orange glow pulsed from behind a partially collapsed wall. It was a sign of life, a potential survivor trapped in the wreckage. The firefighters knew that they had to act quickly. Every moment of hesitation could mean the difference between life and death. We have to reach it. The determination in the voice was clear. They couldn't afford to fail. The team moved with renewed urgency, their focus entirely on reaching the source of the glow. They navigated the debris and flames, their training guiding them through the chaos.
Through the haze, Lieutenant Jones pointed. His experience and leadership were invaluable in these moments. He directed his team with precision, ensuring that every action was coordinated and effective. The smoke was thick, but his clear commands cut through the confusion. They had to reach it. The stakes were high, and the pressure was immense. But the firefighters were unwavering in their mission. They advanced with determination, their eyes fixed on the goal. The heat, the smoke, the flames, none of it could deter them. They were driven by a single purpose: to save lives and extinguish the fire. The stairwell yawned before them, a black hole belching heat and smoke. It was an ominous sight, a foreboding entrance to the unknown. The firefighters knew that beyond this point, every step could be their last. The air was thick with tension, as thick as the smoke that swirled around them. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could truly prepare them for the reality of the inferno they were about to face.
I'll go first. The words were simple, but they carried the weight of bravery and responsibility. The lead firefighter knew the risks, but he also knew that someone had to take the first step into the darkness. His heart pounded in his chest, but his resolve was unshakable.
Miller growled, his hand gripping the railing. The metal was hot to the touch, a stark reminder of the danger that surrounded them. He could feel the vibrations of the building, the groans of the structure as it struggled to remain standing. Each movement was deliberate, each step a calculated risk. Each step groaned under their weight. The sound was unnerving, a constant reminder of the precariousness of their situation. The firefighters moved in unison, their training kicking in as they navigated the treacherous stairwell. The heat was intense, almost unbearable, but they pressed on, driven by the need to save lives. The air grew hotter, the smoke thicker. Breathing was becoming more difficult, even with their masks on. The visibility was almost zero, and they had to rely on their instincts and training to guide them. The oppressive heat was like a physical force, pushing against them, trying to drive them back. Visibility dropped to mere inches. The world around them was reduced to shadows and shapes, the outlines of their fellow firefighters barely discernible in the gloom. Every step was a leap of faith, every movement a test of their courage and determination.
Watch your back. The warning was clear, a reminder that danger could come from any direction. The firefighters were a team, and they had to look out for each other. Trust was essential, and they knew that their lives depended on it.
Jones warned, his voice strained. The effort of speaking through the mask, combined with the stress of the situation, made his voice sound almost unrecognizable. But the message was clear, and the team responded with a renewed sense of vigilance. They descended slowly, each man a shield for the one behind. The formation was tight, each firefighter covering the other's back. It was a slow, methodical process, but it was the only way to ensure their safety. The stairwell seemed endless, a never-ending descent into the heart of the fire. The weight of the building seemed to press down, threatening to crush them. The structure groaned and creaked, the sounds of impending collapse echoing through the stairwell. But the firefighters pressed on, driven by their duty and their determination to save those trapped inside. Each step was a battle, but they were ready to fight to the end. A terrifying groan echoed through the stairwell. Dust rained down, obscuring the already limited vision. The air was thick with smoke, making it hard to breathe. Every breath was a struggle, each step a gamble. The building structure was failing and time was running out.
Out now, move, move, move!
Miller roared, shoving Jones towards the landing. The heat was unbearable and the flames were closing in. They had to get out before it was too late. Miller's heart pounded in his chest as he pushed forward, determined to save his team. The steps beneath them gave way, metal screaming in protest. The sound was deafening, a cacophony of destruction. The ground seemed to disappear from under their feet, and for a moment they were suspended in mid-air. They tumbled, a tangled mass of limbs and gear, landing hard on the floor below. The impact was jarring, knocking the wind out of them. Pain shot through their bodies, but they had no time to dwell on it. They had to keep moving. Coughing, disoriented, they scrambled clear of the debris. The air was filled with the acrid smell of burning materials, and their eyes stung from the smoke. They could barely see, but they knew they had to find a way out. The stairwell was gone, replaced by a roaring inferno, trapped. The flames roared like a beast, consuming everything in their path. The heat was intense and the situation seemed hopeless. But firefighters are trained to never give up. They had to find another way, no matter the odds. Panic threatened to consume them, but they were trained for this.
Thermal imaging.
Miller barked, his voice tight. Jones activated his HUD. A ghostly green outline of a doorway shimmered through the smoke, their only way out. Crawling on their bellies, they navigated the burning debris. The heat was unbearable, sucking the air from their lungs. Each breath was a victory. They stumbled through the doorway, gasping for air. The room was engulfed in flames, but the heat was less intense. And then they heard it. A cough, weak and desperate.
Over here!
Jones yelled, rushing towards the sound. A figure lay crumpled beneath a fallen beam, barely conscious. A young woman, her eyes wide with terror. Hope surged through Miller. They could save her. Adrenaline fueled their movements as they worked to free the woman. Every second counted. The fire raged around them, a living creature determined to devour everything in its path. Finally, the beam shifted. Jones pulled the woman clear, shielding her with his own body.
My baby?
Her words pierced through the roar of the flames. Miller grabbed Jones's arm.
We go back!
He shouted, his voice raw with urgency. Jones hesitated, his eyes filled with the inferno's reflection. The woman clung to him, her grip weak but desperate. Time was running out. They had a duty. The fire roared, challenging their resolve. Every instinct screamed at them to escape.